Hello, thank you for joining us today in this G2X training. I'm just getting everything ready for you, which I thought I had ready, which I did not have ready. So, a little bit of a hot mess. I'm Alexa Choi, your host today. It's not going to be as bad as it feels right now. It's going to be great. Just gotta get up and running. Let's see which one of these am I sharing. Okay, I guess we could do this. Don't tap, Jamie. Just kidding. Okay, hopefully, Marianne, can you confirm that you can see my screen?
Yep.
All right, excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and just turn on the focus so that way we don't get hit up by a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, thank you for joining. As I had mentioned, so sorry for being a little bit late. We were having some technical difficulties, which we have since resolved. If you have questions during today's webinar, please don't hesitate to reach out to Marianne Brown. She's working in the background to ensure today is a smooth, seamless experience. Also, please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. I know we don't have a ton of people on today. We do appreciate those that are here, and we do have some brand new things with G2Xchange I'm excited to share with you. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First things first, you've got your intercom running now. So if you pop this little guy open, which is right here, you can see the most trending things of the day. And any one of these things you can click into and pop open also. And you can schedule a consultation right here. So if you were like, I wonder how I get in touch with customer service, you can hit this, choose a time, and it will open up Julie's calendar directly, which is a really great way to get on her calendar to learn what's new. You've also got the couple different things you can scroll between down here. So you've got your home, news, messages, and help. So don't hesitate to kind of click through that and see what that's about. Moving right along, I'm going to show you that you have up here your little photo. And if I click on your account, you can actually see that you've got your account, your company profile. So if you've actually claimed a company profile, this is where it would be living. So make sure that you have your company profile claimed, you have your keep statement added to it, because these are all things that get indexed and they pop up in different areas for different people that are looking for companies like yours. Also, if you follow companies, it'll be right here, followed companies. I follow Visual Connections, which means if Visual Connections wins an award or has some other kind of news, I would get an email. This is extremely important if you have, for example, some prime contractors that are on some BPAs and you're wondering, are they sending me all the task order stuff? Well, you can now track and find out. So I will show you also your member discounts and your homepage selector. Wow, this is cool. Whenever you work for a SaaS company and you know, every time you're on the site, you're like, wow, this is brand new, cool. So I'm looking at this the same time that you are. But looks like you can select which, when you log in, where you want your homepage to be, which is pretty cool. Um, Let me go ahead and show you the GovCon directory so I can just show you a little bit more about follow companies. I'm going to open Maven, which is a wonderful women-owned small business that does a lot of defense work, also national security as well. So you can kind of track as you're coming down here and see the prime and subcontract awards over the years. So if you were wondering, for example, if you're taking a look at this right here, like I wonder if they could participate in 541511, which you know as well as I know has a 16.1 over 5. NICS code availability. So looking at this, 81 million as prime over 5, not going to work. So you know that if you were building out a black hat deck for something that had that kind of total in it, you would know that they wouldn't be eligible to bid. So you wouldn't worry about them being a prime against you. That's kind of like some strategic intel. So as you scroll on down, you can kind of see that everywhere that they've done work. So you've got your different offices here. And then if you scroll on down, you can actually click the subcontracts button and see everywhere that they are subbed to somebody. So if you were to ask yourself, where does Maven have their big relationships? You can answer that question here. I'm going to come over to contract awards and show you that we're also tracking the burn rate against different tasks as well. If you kind of just like scroll on down and and you can gather a whole bunch more information there. As you come on down, G2X really does shine the best when we're connecting all the data pieces together. So when you're at your bottom here, you can see that we've got all the places that we've written articles about Maven. Let me scroll back up to the top and talk about some of the newer items up here. As I had mentioned, you want to claim your profile so that way you can make it shine as bright as possible. You can ask Lumen, which I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But after we had talked already about the follow companies, which you remember up here in your account was like, which companies are you following? Well, here you go. You can follow contract wins, or you can follow company updates, or you can follow both and hit that button that says start following. And then now, if I go back to my account under Alexa, then you're going to see that I not only have visual connections, but I also have Maven now. Okay, so I'm going to hit this Ask Lumen button, and it's going to pop open and say, it's gonna give me some prompts up here, which is kind of cool because um, some of these are things that you might want to know. Which vehicle schedules do they hold? And it will build out an answer and just give it to you directly right about some companies. So this is actually used best when you're about to get on a call with Maven. And I think if you did a good deep dive of their company profile in G2X, you could get on a call with Maven and know more than most do about the company itself. So it's still thinking, so I'm not gonna wait around for that, but that's kind of the point behind this. I think everybody's familiar with using some of this AI tools by now. And also, just to let you know that companies do go through a trending cycle if they're being clicked on a lot. And I've noticed that it kind of matches the daily take, which makes sense, right? Because daily take is sending out like, oh, who's winning and what's happening. And so a lot of companies end up trending from that, which is great because it's like this flywheel of giving companies like a little bit of a marketing boost, which is something at G2 Exchange that we love to do, especially for our corporate members. All right. I did see a ticket come through for somebody that said that they couldn't figure out how to reach our customer service. So I already mentioned one way, which was over here in the little intercom button here. But then I also wanted to show you that under your account, there's this help button here. And you can see that the knowledge library is linked here for different ways of doing things. We've got the G2X way, which is the customer success model. You've got frequently asked questions, getting started, and then you've got this contact us button up here, which will go directly into our help desk. So those are some of the ways that you can reach out to the team and kind of figure out deep dive, like if you were trying to do some self-help, like, okay, let me get better at this tool. Alrighty, so now that we've done some deep dive stuff, I felt like we jumped into like GovCon 501 or whatever. That was like a graduate class in the company directories. We're going to backtrack and see if anybody has any questions before I jump off into the next level. So, Marianne, any questions?
I don't see any.
Sweet, we'll keep it rolling. All right, so first of all, a little bit of a fun thing. Um, Tell me that your site is built by developers. Check this out. Dark mode. You can go dark mode. How fun is that? Let's do the rest of this in dark mode. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to come over here and talk about the difference between curated intelligence and regular intelligence. Like, what does that even mean? All right, so curated intelligence is really what G2X is known for the past 11 years. It is, a team of people that get up very early in the morning. They go out and they ferret out different pieces of information. They put it together and compile it in an email called the Daily Take, and that goes out to like over 20,000 people. It goes out to a lot of folks. And a lot of people use that as their morning check-in on industry as they're drinking their coffee, like, what events should I be caring about? Who's winning? What teaming partner should I be thinking about? And also, what industry moves are hot today? And especially in today's day and age, with industry moving in and out of, government industry, it's kind of like a little bit of musical chairs. So when somebody pulled the chair out and, then suddenly somebody from government's in industry or vice versa. So it's really important to pay attention to the industry moves, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. But before I jump into the curated intelligence, I do want to show you up here at the top. This is our global search, and I love it. And I'll show you why. If you hit just the word keyword cyber, you're going to notice it's going to pop up with a lot of things. So I wanted to show you that's giving you a lot of information at one time. So let's break it down. Curated market intelligence, this is where it's pulling it from. So it's not pulling it from sam.gov, it's not pulling it from the other data analytics platform, but it's pulling it from the curated market intelligence. And you can see over here the different category breakdowns. And then if you scroll down, you can see the companies with the word cyber in the name. And then if you scroll on down, you can see the active opportunities with the word cyber as well. So that is something I believe. I mean, listen, I've been using these kind of tools for 20 years, and I've worked at GovWin and BGov and all fill in the blank. I've seen the tool, used the tool, GovTribe, all that. So nobody does it this particular way, where if you put in a keyword here, it's going to actually give you all the companies related to it, all the different parts and pieces, and then also all the active opportunities down at the bottom. It's pretty cool. So what if you were like, okay, Alexa, that's cool. So I'm not sure why that just popped me in there. Let me let's run that. Let's run that back. Okay, cool. So let's just go back to home and let's type in cyber up here at the top level. And then I'm gonna come up here under the curated intelligence, say see all results for the curated intelligence. So this puts it in this beautiful overlay here, which here you can then break it down by FedCiv, defense, or health. So whatever platform you're most interested in. If you're like, okay, well, I covered cyber DoD. So okay, cool. So you come in here, DoD, cyber. What I wanted to show you from here was this save search button. So you hit the save search button and you're like, all right, cyber, all the things. So if I was to come in here, I could select instant versus daily, but G2X does an amazing job really setting up beautiful alerts that come out to you daily. So it just pops you into, once you hit save, all of your save search. So you can see that I've got a lot of different save searches running. And the nice thing is I don't get 80,000 emails from G2X. I get one. And it's like, okay, here's the new cyber stuff. Here's the new women-owned small business stuff. Here's the new agile stuff. So I think that's really nice. And it kind of speaks to our amazing tech team that's building on the back end. But you can delete some things, you can play with all these things in here. And then also wanted to show you the rest of the little tools up here. So we already were playing with the dark mode. You've got your tools here, which is going to be going into, the same thing that's your profile tools. But this little bell up here is really how you get to your saved searches, is this little bell. And then of course this bookmark, oh boy, see, clicked around too fast. Let me just take it home. Okay. And then if you click into the bookmark here, it'll take you into, okay, well, maybe not today, but generally when you are using the bookmark feature here, you can actually bookmark different articles and things, and it will save it there in the case you want to find it again soon, quicker, faster, right? Alrighty. One thing I wanted to point out is that we do pull opportunities from CSOs, OTAs, challenges, and forecasts. So all of those are kind of like highlighted. So this is DHS is a forecast opportunity here. And I'm not going to pop into it because I'm going to show you what the awards looks like really quick. So this award is Halvik Corp, which you can then click into Halvik up here. You've got your company analysis, which I love because a lot of folks are like, Halvik, who's Halvik? If you didn't know that Halvik started their entire w- company at USPTO. I mean, I know that, but maybe not everybody knows that. But then you can kind of understand the background that the company has, all the different certs. And a lot of people ask about this stuff because this is really how you can identify who's going to be competing against you on some of the big BPA IDIQs, right? Um, and then some of the really smart contracting officers use this as gate criteria. They'll be like, oh, you have to have CMMI level 3 in services and PMMI level 3 in dev. This used to be the lockout criteria that everybody used before, was having level 3 in both services and dev. And then I think a lot of the companies started realizing this, so they all started getting it. So it became less of a lockout criteria. But imagine if you were to say, okay, well, you need to have, you know, your 20,000, ISO 20,000 and all these to even pass the go gate. So that's like phase one for a down select. And so you were like, well, I wonder if Halvik actually has that. You can click on the company analysis and then you can get that information. Also, you can see where else they've been winning and what recent subcontracts as well. Like I mentioned, you can bookmark it, you can like it, you can share it, you can't do that because that's a backend thing. Okay, and you can add a pipeline. Let's use that to kick off into pipelines. Before I go to pipelines, I'll talk about events. And I'm going to pause there just to see if you guys have any questions. Any questions before I continue going?
Don't see any.
Okay, let's keep this party rolling. Okay, I'm going to open this one here. So we track a lot of different events, and as you can see, a lot of them are government events themselves. It's not just industry events. And you can hit this little register button, you can add it to your calendar, it'll tell you where it is. But most importantly, if you read it, it'll try to give you the exact same information for each event so that way you know what to expect when you're looking at our data. We do track a lot of these, and if you find anything that's incorrect, then let me know. So one of the things I used to not live in the area, and when I would come to the area, I would be like, okay, I need to know from September 8th to that whole week of September 8th to the 12th, I want to know what's actually happening in the area so I could set my schedule. I would do it this way, and then I would create some like a spreadsheet of events that I would be wanting to go to and what I was hoping to get out of it and who I was hoping to meet, just so I could be like more organized in my own brain. Trust me, that is a hard thing to do. And then I pulled up GovJam. So if you don't have this event on your calendar, you need to add it right now. It is one of the biggest events of the year and it's super fun. And unfortunately, I'm missing it this year. Okay, analyst reports I'm going to skip over for now, but just know that it's here, and we do have a lot of really great information in here. Like for example, up and coming expiring task orders on CISP3, and as GSA gets their ducks in a row or tries to about what they're going to do with CISP3 and CISP4 and SUP6, I would think it'd be really great to keep an eye on these and just kind of assume that they're probably going to go GSA mass for now. I mean, that's like an Alexa opinion, so don't hold me to it, but this is really great information, and I got there by going to the analyst reports. All right, I'm going to pop over into pipelines because some of these other tools are a little bit self-explanatory, but pipelines is one of my favorite places in the site because um, having been a BD capture exec for most of my career, I feel like this is the area that all the tools are deficient. There are some tools out there that are okay, but then that's like the only piece that they do. And then, it's like a pipeline tool that wants to be a BD tool. Like what? So, the thing that I love about G2Xchange, and I was a customer before I ever worked for G2Xchange, the thing I love about it is it positions you early market. It positions you at the go-to-market stage. So that way you're not jumping in at the capture stage like some of the other tools, like every other tool, basically. So it's a G2X is a go-to-market tool trying to be a go-to-market tool. So when you open up a pipeline, just know that we're not trying to be a CRM. And that was never our intent. Our intent is to help you have good hygiene with your buckets here. So you got your market research, opportunity identification, qualification, capture planning, proposal development, proposal submission. And so all these things. And yes, you can change all this and all that. But let me pop into Evolve and show you why I love this so much. So this is Department of State Evolve. And the thing that I love about G2Xchange is you can actually pull the actual solicitation into your pipeline and have everything sitting right there. So imagine you were going to do a step review from here. You'd have your tasks, you'd have your P1 and your work share that you could talk about. You have your capture notes. And also because you know, as well as I do, that Department of State Evolve is a agency-wide IDIQ BPA. And if you don't know what those words mean, this whole training might be a lot of acronyms for you, but if you do know what it means, you know that the ability to add capture insights into your step reviews by saying, okay, these are the task orders that are going to be coming over to this BPA. These are the industry moves that matter. And then you can even pull in the related protests all from your pipeline is so cool. And I really feel like this must win button up here at the top, you can go to the opportunity page, and the whole pipeline thing is just so, so cool. Um, I'm a big fan, and I played a hand in uh, a lot of the testing for it, and I still do. And I think I just imagine back to when I was chasing a lot of deals and what mattered to me, and um, so I'm gonna open this right here. And then imagine that your chief growth officer had to do a higher level presentation. So it wasn't like, the BD capture execs presenting to the folks for like a shall we or shouldn't we, right? But more like, hey, this is what the overall pipeline looks like. So look at this beautiful report here. You've got all your opportunities on the side. You've got your average calculated P win here. You've got your total deal value, and then you can kind of scroll through here and walk through the different deals. So I didn't fill out all the data in here, but you can kind of see where I'm going with it. And then of course you can export this as well. So it's kind of cool. Um, Feel free to play around with it and give us your feedback. And I've got 5 minutes, so I'm gonna hit the gas. If nobody has any questions, we're gonna keep it moving.
Yep, keep going.
Sweet. Thanks, Marianne, for keeping me honest over here. Alrighty, so under intelligence, we've now got this whole entire thing built out where we have our opportunities database, which is pretty cool because you can add all kinds of filters and things and close. And I'm just gonna do NAICS code because I'm a NAICS code nerd, and I really take a lot of weird pleasure in knowing a lot about that nerdy nerdy thing. So I'm just going to pull up this opportunity here. I haven't looked at this. I don't know what this is about, but it looks like it's a cross domain thing for Air Force. That's pretty cool. Cross domain for Air Force is pretty dope. So you can add to your pipeline up here. And when you click that button, it's going to say, do you want to add it to an existing pipeline? Do you want to start a new pipeline? So yeah, it's good to think about that kind of stuff. So pipelines are only good as the data that's in them. So have some kind of like thought process around that. You've got your attachments you can open up in here, or if you wanted to jump back to open in SAM.gov, you can do that here. And then you can see down here, as I had kind of mentioned, it's really nice when we have other kinds of data being exposed that are related to it. So that kind of just makes it a little bit more enriched, right? All right, so that's the opportunities database. In a nutshell, it is a SAM.gov feed. And then, pretty soon you're going to see that Ask Lumen button up here at the top where you can ask AI to roll this up and give you all the information, and that'll be really cool. We've also got our contracts database, which is exactly what it sounds like. And then we also underneath of that have our vehicles database, which is also what it sounds like. So I'm not going to kind of go into too much of all that, but I just want to open up one of these to show you what it looks like. I just clicked on the first one that was here. We do know that a lot of people struggle with the reference ID and the award ID and what that means. So we kind of tried to highlight it and break that out. This is a delivery order um, on an established contract, right? So it's an IDIQ. So you come over here, you've got, exactly what they were looking to procure. You've got the recipient, you've got all this information. And if you scroll on down, you can even figure out more information. It was a sealed bid from fixed price, it's funny. Like I always thought like contract type, I'm like, why is that important? I cannot even tell you the amount of times I've gotten a call from somebody wanting to know some information. I was like, let me pull up G2X on my phone and find out the contract type. It is wild. That piece of information is extremely useful, as well as number of offers received if you're looking at something that's already complete. Those are the two things that people really love to see. The agency details, funding office, buying office, all this can get really confusing. You can get in the weeds quick. Alrighty, so one of the cool things about our site as well that I absolutely love, and I do this quite a bit, is market sizing and thinking about like, are we selling to the right customers that are actually buying what we're selling, right? You have a NAICS code that is primary on your SAM.gov, but did you know you can change those? Did you know that you can bid other ones? Did you know that it's not that serious, but you do need to have them all listed on your SAM.gov, but you can change those. So you come on down, this is 541519, which is a really great NAICS code. And you can kind of see every agency that's buying off of this NAICS code. And as you scroll on down, you can see the different, like the VA is the number one buyer of this. And if you keep scrolling, you've got your associated contract vehicles right here. And then you've got your awardees. So you can see what contracts are being awarded under this NAICS code and 103 right here. So if you guys know anything about this particular NAICS code, this is the government's favorite NAICS code when somebody's reselling something. 541519 soup 6, this NAICS code. Resellers, this NAICS code. So which is why the CMA Technologies, this is 103 million. This deal, we actually wrote this one up in the take today. So I know something about it, but it's Department of Energy Splunk licenses, right? So that makes sense that it's in here, but also pretty cool. You've got all of your opportunities also that are active down here. So then you can be taking a look at this. And one thing to also mention, oh my gosh, I was just in here. Hold on, sorry. I moved sideways and it moved the whole thing. Is in our tool, if you wanted to move around these like headers for any of our tables, because I think it's really personal how you like to look at data. Just feel free to grab them and move them because we also know that. You can select different columns if you want to, and then you can also, now this is new, you can export data. Yeah, buddy. Awesome. So we've got 2 minutes. Let me show
I do,
you down here. Yeah.
I do have one question for you. One question is, how can we sort and view sole source contracts?
Okay. Easy. Easy peasy. So my new way of doing everything is to come up here to the global search and type in sole source, and you're gonna see award, 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 award. We write a lot about the sole source stuff. So this is an actual really great way of doing it, is to type in sole source and then to hit that see all results button like we did before, and then kind of come through here and filter either by agency or by category. Usually these are listed as awards, not opportunities, because they're sole source to be awarded. But sometimes, we do talk about it internally. If the government themselves is, I wouldn't say they're conflicted, but the government does stuff like, here's a JNA, but if you think you can do the work, let us know. So then we're like, do we put this in the awards or the opportunities? So you can kind of see us waffle on that one sometimes. So that's probably the best way of doing it. Hit save search. You're going to get a sole source email coming to your inbox. Also, if you come up here into contract opportunities, one of the filters in here is set aside. And the set asides, you've got your 8A here. And I think there's some ways that you can play around with this 8A filter. And I'm assuming, I'm trying to think about how else you could do that. But I think that's probably the playing around with the 8A filtering. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way for now. And then the sole source search for the global search. I think those two ways would be pretty good. Yeah, that's a great question. I guess it would be kind of cool in our contracts database to have like a button up here that was like show sole source only. Thank you for the question. My brain's already working. All right, it is 12:30. Thank you all for joining me today. And thank you, Julie, if you're here. Really appreciate you. And I will see you all soon. Have a great day.